welcome to a brand new show here on Twitch, the Cam's Scottish Football Roundup, as I've called it. Today, I've got Team Muzza joining me and his child. So how you doing, Muzza?
I'm all good, Cammy. Cheers.
Muzza is watching the current European games that are going on, which I believe they are Galatasaray and St Johnstone, and also Hibs and Aberdeen are playing in the Europa Conference League. Aberdeen just scored before we went live there.
Yep. 1-0 Christian Ramirez.
When we're talking about football, you know, well, it's going to be a Scottish football-based show, but there's big news that broke just before 7 p.m. BST, and that was Lionel Messi leaves Barcelona. Of course, Lionel Messi, his contract ran out with Barcelona not too long ago, and he was meant to resign. He agreed a 5-year deal in principle. It was agreed through speaking, and when it came down to signing the contract, Messi said no and is moving on. So what do you make of that, Muzza?
I think it was always going to happen. He's cost the club, like, I don't know how much he's cost the club, but it's hundreds of millions he's cost the club, I think, through wages and that. In Barcelona, I think have got money troubles as it is, and it's huge news. The question is he going to join? That's a biggie. There was obviously talk of him joining Man City, I think, a wee while back. So obviously that could be definitely interesting.
Of course, Messi, stalwart of Barcelona. Players like Sergio Aguero joined Barcelona to play alongside him, just for Messi to leave, which is an interesting dynamic. But I think you mentioned there about Manchester City, of course, for a couple of years now, they've been rumoured to have interest in signing the Argentine, because, of course, Messi did play under Pep Guardiola when Guardiola was manager at Barcelona. Mm-hmm. But when we look at the bigger picture, of course, Man City are been heavily rumoured to make 2 signings in the last couple of days. Of course, Jack Grealish for £100 million from Aston Villa, and Harry Kane for £160 million from Tottenham Hotspur.
Messi alone on wages would be worth that amount of money a season as well. Probably you'd probably get offered something like stupid money, like 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 a week. So it's.
You do remember it's 260 million plus the wages that they're spending on these players.
Yeah, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Albeit they'll get Messi in on a free, but try to get Messi in, and on top of that, I think it'd be a bit impossible for them. But I'd be interested to see if they do get it in.
He might stick in Spain. He might. I don't know who he would possibly go to. You've only really got Real Madrid, and you might hear my missus in the background, people. I don't know. In saying that, I don't think he will stick in Spain. It would be interesting to see if he might link up with Ronaldo. That would be interesting. Well, as far as I'm aware, he's still at Juventus just now. I don't know if he's leaving anybody, if he's leaving them or what. But I think everybody's wildest dreams would love to see Ronaldo and Messi play together. So that could be an interesting one as well, to see if he goes there or.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll go to Juventus, because Juventus themselves are having financial issues. Apparently, they're looking to sell Ronaldo.
Yeah, well, that's why I said I don't know if he's still there, because I know there was obviously talk of him leaving. So.
But there's another team in the Serie A who are rumoured to be getting a bunch of money in the coming weeks, potentially. Inter Milan, apparently Romelu Lukaku is set to leave to go back to his former club Chelsea for a rumoured £100 million.
Money's crazy these days, man. Crazy.
It could be interesting to see that dynamic in that league of Messi and Inter Milan. Of course, they won the Serie A last season against Ronaldo at Juventus. So we do apologise for any background noise as well, by the way. But that's something I'm interested in seeing if he does go there. But of course, the other team, always get rumoured to sign these big players. They've been rumoured to sign Ronaldo this season, as PSG, of course, who are, let's just say, making a few a few signings so far. Of course, Sergio Ramos on a free from Real Madrid. Akraf Hakimi from
Inter Milan.
Inter Milan. I was going to say Dortmund there. I couldn't remember who he was playing for, but of course,
Yeah,
that was
Inter Milan.
60 million. And then Jorginho Wijnaldum on a free from Liverpool. Three very good signings. I think there'll be a few more.
No, they've also got Donnarumma for AC Milan. He's another one as well. PSG are going to be pretty decent this season, I think. I feel for the French league because I think they'll run away with the league. So I bet that. Aye.
But of course, we'll have to wait and see. There's a few teams, we mentioned that Man City, PSG, Inter Milan, Juventus. There, of course, other teams as well that could potentially sign them. Chelsea, who are rumoured to go after Haaland or Lukaku, mentioned there, potentially could have switched their attempts to try and sign MESSI, which I don't know if they would.
I think it's going to be down to money, and it's all good, as we said, saying that Messi's he's leaving the club, he's free, but you sign that. I mean, I don't even know what age Messi is now. I would need to look, but if you sign him on even a 3-year deal, and like as I said, what was it, about 500 grand a week is what I think he's on at Barcelona just now. Then that's a couple of million a month for 3 years. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to be parting way with. So you would imagine the English Premier League are probably the only teams that could potentially afford them, which definitely, as I said, makes it interesting. So
yeah. With the fact that I can't remember if it was last summer or the season before, but Pep Guardiola did come out to say that Man City can't afford to spend 100 million on players. They've went and spent, or they're going to be spending that and more on 2 players in Grealish from Villa and Tottenham. So,
2-0 to Aberdeen. I said I would interrupt. It's now 2-0 to Aberdeen. It's Ferguson, I think.
Ferguson. So they scored just before we go live, and they score just now.
Yeah, 10 minutes in, 2-0 up away from home. That's actually a really good result as it stands so far.
I think though we'll have enough talk about Messi because this is a Scottish football show. If you do have any comments, put them in the chat.
I thought it was a penalty, St Johnstone. Sorry, it's not.
I can't pull stuff up on stream. This is me testing something earlier on. I don't know how to get rid of that. I don't know why it's on that side. But of course, we'll have a quick look at the last week in the Scottish Premiership, and we'll also have a look at the table. We'll discuss the goings on in each of the individual leagues, and also the Highland and Lowland League as well, in the 5th tier, which might not do too much about because there is 2 leagues there in that 5th tier. But we have a look here. We're using BBC Sport website just because it's probably one of the better ones to get the stats and that up. Of course, the early kick-off to start off the season was defending champions Rangers as they took on Livingston at Ibrox with the first crowd I think Ibrox had in over a year. I don't know what the was.
I'm not sure how many. I want to say 22,000.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
But of course, Rangers get lead early with Yanis Hadji scoring before goals from Wright and Ruth Leon. I didn't actually see Arrow down too just because I was getting ready to.
Wright's goal was nice. Wright's goal was a good finish, to be fair. He hit it with the outside his boot and kind of curled it into the far end of the goal for where he was standing. And
before we do talk about Scottish, we do have a comment in the chat from Kinswell Shannon. But he says he's dead right now. He started supporting Barcelona in 2015 because Messi played in the club, and he made him love the club. Now he's leaving the football. Now he's leaving the club after 22 years in modern football. He's been Barcelona 6-1 win, 8-2 loss. Yeah, that's the thing with Messi. He's been a stalwart, as I said already, for Barcelona. Of course, being there in the moments when they've been elevating, also the was it the iconic game against PSG? Well, I think they were for four goals down in the first.
Oh, you talking? Oh, yeah, aye. That was a quality game, is it? Aye.
So, yeah, I don't know where to go next, but Barcelona do have a major rebuild in their hand. But I think we might come back to the Messi situation later on in the stream, as we are talking about Scottish football now. Everyone's favourite. But Rangers starting the defence of the title with a 3-0 win, getting 3 points. Severity, getting both 2 assists, as you can see there. Livingston, trying to make it like what to make of them.
Livingston never. I mean, as I said, I watched all the highlights, but Livingston, they never really caused Rangers any threats at all, and they weren't that great. And I know, being a Thistle fan, I know you've got the team line up right now. James Penrees, number 29, he played at Thistle as a left back. He's just signed for Livingston this season, and he's playing left winger, of the front three. So that shows you the kind of attacking threat they've got just now is maybe a wee bit poorer than what they've had the last couple of seasons. So
yeah, of course they were missed a few players. The usual right back Mickey Devlin was just recovering from an injury. I think McMillan's more of a centre back and a left back. So...
No, McMillan's a right back. McMillan is it? Aye, well, I'm sure he is. McMillan's definitely a right back. I'm sure he. Again, another Thistle info, but he was on loan at Thistle and he played right back for his McMillan, so he did.
I can't remember if he played against us last season in the cup, but we'll move on to the next game, which was Dundee versus St Mirren.
That was a brilliant game, by the way, just for what it's worth.
Yeah, recently promoted Dundee up against St Mirren. St Mirren, of course, through in the the Premier Sports Cup, in a group that consists of both of their teams, Ceres and Partick Thistle, which we'll talk about in a bit. But you can see there, St Mirren did open the scoring, and then an own goal by Shaughnessy pulled the game back level for the break, and then Cummings.
Sorry to interrupt again. There's another goal in the Aberdeen game, but it's now 2-1.
2-1. Yeah, Jason Cummings scored to make it 2-0 after a McGrath penalty. I got slated on commentary the other week there by Colin McGrath, and that's what it was my team sheet. So, but yeah, I think that's one of the games which you can't really make much of right now, just because.
It was end to end. It was a brilliant game for what I've seen it anyway. The St Mirren's first goal came very quickly for kick-off. I think about 3-4 minutes in. It was just a long ball forward by the goalkeeper. I think it was Curtis Main won the header in the air and knocked it down to Brophy, who actually finished it really well. As I said, the OG was for in favour of Dundee was a corner. I think went straight in. Charlie Adam challenged for it. Player headed it in. Jason Cummings gave away a soft penalty, I think. Obviously, they scored for St Mirren, and then the equaliser was quick counter attacking football for Dundee. But no, it was an excellent. Penalty to St Johnstone. Oh, jeez, sorry. Red card to the goalkeeper as well in the Galatasaray and St Johnstone game.
Penalty to St Johnstone and the Galatasaray keeper's off.
Yep. Sorry, I got a wee bit excited there, but no, it was. A Thistle fan, remember getting excited for St Johnstone. No, but but no, I think that was this game here was the Dundee and St Mirren game was probably the best game of the weekend in my opinion, even better than the Hearts and Celtic, just because it was so end to end and stuff.
We'll talk about Hearts and Celtic in a moment, but of course the other game that took place at 3 p.m. on Saturday was Ross County versus St Johnstone, which you can see that finished as a 0-0 draw. A missed penalty by McCann, but there was more of a notable event anyway. That Ross County number 24, you can see here, Harry Payton. The night before, so what's this? We're putting this 3 a.m. on the Friday. He was part of the Canada squad that played Mexico in the Gold Cup semi-final, and then 36 hours later, he's on the bench for Ross County against St Johnstone.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Flew from Houston overnight to get back in place for Ross County.
I mean, I'd just like to point out, last season there was the lower leagues in Scottish football. Remember, we were playing like 48 hours within each other, playing on the Tuesday night, the Thursday night. So it's maybe not that big a deal as what it would have been a few seasons back. But
it's the fact that it was in Houston. Actually, it's number 6 to apartment. It was in Houston, Texas. flew overnight just to get back to play. So
yeah, no, definitely. It wouldn't have been wouldn't have got much sleep actually, as you said as well, because of the flight back.
we were talking about this at the start of the stream. Jack Grealish has signed for Manchester City for £100 million. That is confirmed.
I've had to bring something at half 10.
Do you want me to tell you St Johnson's score here? This is possibly one of the major shocks in Europe just now. This is if St Johnson can score. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's only 56 minutes in, but the Galatasaray goalkeeper got rounded by the St Johnson player and he just actually pulled him to the ground. So it was a definite sending off. I don't know who it is that's taking the penalty. Is that Kerr? It might be Kerr, I'm not sure. They're taking their time to take the penalty. I apologise here.
No worries.
Oh, he's running up. He scores 1-0 to St Johnson against Galatasaray.
That's a big upset. They missed the penalty at the weekend there. They score tonight against Galatasaray. It is away, isn't it? They're away.
Yep, they're away from home, but
That's
away goals
massive.
don't count. Away goals don't count from this season onwards.
I know away goals don't count, but go away to I think Galatasaray. And,
Yeah.
You know, take the lead is massive. Of course, we already mentioned the final game on the Saturday saw Championship winners Hearts and Midlothian take on Premiership runners-up Celtic. Celtic for the first time in I don't know how many years, but at least,
I think it's 20. I want to say I think it was 24 years is the first time since Celtic have lost, I believe.
There's that. It was first time in a while that they've started the season off away from home. Of course, the champions do start off the season at home to bear the flag, which Hearts done. And we can see there Hearts and Midlothian picked up a 2-1 win against Celtic. And a massive, you can see, I don't know if it's a massive upset. Celtic have been poor. Of course, they did win 4-2 today in the Europa League. But
I don't think it was a massive upset. I believe Scottish football is better than Danish football when it comes to it, and Celtic losing against Midtjylland, and they were very poor as well. And going into this Hearts game, Hearts always are fired up. So no, I don't think it was a shock. I think Hearts Celtic dominated. I think they had if you scroll down, maybe I think they had about 70% possession or something. Celtic. It looked like they dominated the game, but Hearts were, in my opinion, worthy winners.
Yeah, of course, it was a late goal from I think it's John Suter.
Yep, John Suter. Yeah.
That makes sure I got the right one. It could be Harry Suter. But a late goal from John Suter, giving Hearts the win. John Suter, obviously, of course, has had injury issues over the last couple of seasons, and he came back and scored the winning goal to get Hearts off to a positive start. We'll now look at the other two games, which had the last week's European team playing.
One each with Galatasaray and St Johnson.
Galatasaray scored straight away.
Yeah, equalised. I don't even know who the hell that is. It scored.
But yes, of course, the two games on Sunday, Aberdeen beating Dundee United 2-0. Goals from Johnny Hayes and Ramirez. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. Aberdeen, do you expect to win that game, I'd say?
Yeah, Aberdeen are dominant in the Dundee United game, so they were, and definitely deserved a win. Dundee United were actually really poor and reminded me of the season that they actually get relegated. And I believe Shankland's getting linked with a move away from Dundee United just now.
Yeah, you're sure? I think it is.
There's a few teams after him. I believe even Hearts might be looking at him as well. So it's he could be not that he's a big loss because he never done as much as I thought he would last season, but he's Dundee United, I think, could be in trouble this season if they keep playing like that. And the League Cup campaign wasn't that convincing either. So we'll need to wait and see.
Of course, the other game on the Sunday saw Hibernian make the trip across the country to Motherwell, if it wants to load. There we go. And what was the high-scoring game of the weekend? Motherwell taking the lead twice. Hibernian paying them back twice before a penalty from Boyle gave Hibernian the 3 points. Have you seen much in that game, the highlights, or did you watch it?
I watched the full game. Let me try and jog my memory here. Hibs were again probably the better team, and they deserved a win. However, their defending, I believe, was pretty poor for the first 2 goals. For Motherwell, I believe it was 2 crosses, both free headers in the box. I mean, you shouldn't be conceding free headers in the box, basically. But yeah, Hibs definitely worthy winners. The penalty that they conceded, if I remember rightly, so the Hibs third goal from a penalty. I think I can't remember if they said that it was that one that was very soft, but on the same hand, they should have had a penalty in the first half and never got it. So it maybe made up for it, kind of thing.
Yeah. Barely to start off, of course, they were in action last week in the Conference League.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 of them now, I'm going to get confused. But I think we've discussed all the fixtures from last week, and we'll have a look at the table there. Rangers do lead the way early on after the 1 game. Aberdeen in second, Hibernian and Hearts at 2 Edinburgh sides sit 3rd and 4th. And down in the bottom 3, you got Celtic in 10th, which is a surprise, you'd say. Dundee United in 11th, and 11th to sit bottom. We'll move on to the Scottish Championship now, which is a league you're familiar with, Muzza.
Yeah, only just.
Of course, only just. I say familiar with. Yeah, your team park officials did get annoyed, but we'll start off looking at the
crappiest game of the whole weekend in the Championship.
The game between Arbroath and Inverness Caledonian Thistle. Dick Campbell's side losing to Inverness through a goal from Craig Sutherland, I think that is.
Yeah, he chipped it.
Shane Sutherland, sorry. Shane Sutherland. You see there.
Mm-hmm.
Arbroath looked to have the better, more chances there, better possession as well.
Arbroath's problem going from their League Cup games is their finishing. Is the strikers aren't really up to? I would like to say not up to Championship standards, but obviously it's early on in the season. You can't tell. Arbroath have been known to be hard to beat at home, so based on that theory, it was a great result for Inverness because Arbroath are not easy to beat in Arbroath.
The next game was Morton and Dunfermline playing out a 2-2 draw. Gary Alworth put the home side in front with 4 goals from Todorov and Kevin O'Hara. Saw Dunfermline take a 2-1 lead, and then a goal just a few minutes after O'Hara's goal from McGrattan saw the game pressed level. We both saw Dunfermline play in the cup, the Premier Sports Cup, as Dunfermline were one of the other teams involved in our group. Dunfermline were I think they were top goal scorers in the group, putting 5 past the Barton, 4 past Partick, and 4 past Stenny.
Yeah, they would have been in, yeah.
But struggled against a Morton side who are relatively poor in comparison to.
For what it's worth, regarding Dunfermline with their goal scoring against Thistle in the cup, it was the first game, and also I've said it time and time again. I've said to yourself that they were gifted 3 goals. In a game but they were, and that's I'm not just saying that being a Thistle fan. It's like they genuinely were gifted 2 or 3 of the goals, and Thistle dominated the game for huge periods in that game. And a lot of people say Dunfermline's defence isn't that great either, and Thistle still scored 2 in that game. And I think that Morton showed again that Dunfermline's defence isn't that good. It's not so much it's not that good, but it will leak goals this season. So as much as they're good at attacking and scoring goals, they're just equally as dodgy at conceding the goals. And I seen, to be fair, Morton, I don't know if you've seen the highlights, but Morton's second goal in I can't even see that screen. McGrattan. I think he meant to do a cross, and it kind of fell in at the back post. So it was quite a jammy goal, even though there's a couple of vlogs of Morton fans saying he scored a worldie. It's definitely a jammy goal.
Yeah, I do agree with Dunfermline a bit dodgy at back. They beat us 4-1 in the final game of the Premier Sports Cup. But when we kind of went at their defence, it caused them a bunch of issues. We should have had a penalty after James Lyon and Lord from Partick Thistle broke through and was fouled, but they booked him for a dive. So But we did score, which was a simple, I say a simple, it was a good run from James Lyon once again, a simple pass through to Robert Thompson to score. But talking about Partick Thistle, they're the next game up.
What we next up? Happy days.
I'll have a bit more of an insight into as Muzza would have watched that game. A brace from, was it Brian Graham?
Yep.
Turned the game and said after Willie Gibson scoring a confusing goal, let's just say.
It wasn't a confusing. He hit it hard and he hit it straight, and it was good. But our goalkeeper, I've already showed you the goal to you, Cammy. The goalkeeper, Snedden, should have saved it. It went right through his hand. But the only thing that goes in his favour was that it was struck with a bit of power. But it was definitely a bit of a poor goal to concede. And funnily enough, I think it was Queen of the South's first proper shot in the first 10 minutes of the game, and they happened to score from it.
Yeah.
Then, as I said, Thistle, Rudden caught. We were the thing about Thistle this season is our defence is rubbish, but we're going to score goals, and with players like Tiffany, Brian Graham, Zach Rudden, and a few others to come in, we look dangerous. We do look dangerous up front. Rudden played brilliantly. Kind of had a hand in both the first and second goal. He crossed in the first one. Brian Graham does what Brian Graham does. If you hang any balls in the box, he's always going to score them if the goalkeeper doesn't challenge, type thing. And then you've got the second goal was another cross by Zach Rudden to the back post. McKenna managed to get a head on it. Goalkeeper made a brilliant save, tipped it onto the post, but Brian Graham managed to just nip in front of the goalkeeper and tap it in for about a yard or two out. And I don't know if you heard that big bang, it was in the sun. and then Queen of South equalised. They had a string of about like maybe 6 corners in a row or something. Or we knew the goal was coming, and again it was a great header, flicked onto the back post, and he scored. And then just when I thought the game was going to finish in a draw, up popped Tiffany with a poacher's instinct as usual, and yeah, so no, it was a good game, and Thistle, a good bet for any people watching. Always stick Thistle on with both teams to score, or vice versa, stick the team on against Thistle and both teams to score.
Scott Tiffany, of course, did score that winner. Having watched Tiffany play against us, he came off the bench at half time when the Warriors were losing 1-0, and it came on and caused our right back Ross Lyon a lot of issues. Do you see Tiffany having that impact? Or do you see him starting game and causing issues?
Yeah. So as it stands, in my opinion, we've got too many attacking players, and McCall hasn't found a system to suit all our better players. And he played 5 at the back against Queen of the South. When Tiffany came on as a sub, he played up top with Graham, but obviously, like you said, Tiffany is a winger, and he was put up front. So if we can find a system which suits to have Tiffany, I would rather have him on from the start of games. But if you've got him on the bench coming on for the last 20 minutes to half an hour, then he's going to just be as much of a nuisance. He's so fast and pretty decent in front of goal as well. So yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed he has a good season for us.
And we'll move on to the game of the weekend, which saw Rafe Rovers capitulate after going 4-0 up. Goals from Vaughan, Zanata and Connolly put the Starks Park side 4-0 in front, so they did it with the noise, before Hamilton pulled goals back from McDonald, Andy Ryan from of Southern Albion, and Sean Want with that late equaliser in the 92nd minute. Of course, Hamilton were relegated after many years in the Premiership, and when I saw Rafe beating them 4-0, I thought, Hamilton are going to struggle this season, but they managed to pull it back. But what did you make of the game as a whole, where Rafe just started off well, or was like Hamilton poor but then kind of picked it up towards the end of the game?
For what I've seen of the game, Rafe could have been about 6, 7 or 8 up. So Hamilton were really poor. Like they were so poor. It was quite scary. Rafe got through and goal when I think they were 4-0 up. They still got through and goal, no 4-0, 4-1, sorry. Still got through and goal two or three times, 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. So yeah, Hamilton were really poor. However, as much as Hamilton were really poor, the last 20 odd minutes, Rafe were equally as poor in defence as well. And I mean, there was some good goals in the game. I mean, first of all, McDonald for Hamilton. I mean, obviously people. Rafe's his ex-club. He played with Rafe last season, so for him to come back in his first game and score 2 goals against him must have hurt the Rafe fans a wee bit. However, Zanata's goal was the pick of the goal in that game. It was curled right into the top corner for, I don't know, a good 25 yards out or something. It was excellent. So, but no, I think for each. It was a great game. It was a great game. I don't even know what to say about it. It was really good, and both of them were equally as poor as each other in spells. Rafe will be a wee bit devastated that they never obviously managed to win the game, having dominated for 60, 70 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, it does look like both teams, know where the goal is, but defensively, like teams like Park and Fairmont, maybe not the best. But we'll look ahead to the final game. I'll look at the final game now, which was an Ayrshire derby, the first time in a league for quite a while now. Another team that was recently relegated to Kilmarnock, who were relegated in the playoffs at the hands of Dundee, hosted Ayr United, and I think it was an expected result, a 2-0 win for Kilmarnock. Goals from Polworth and Innes Cameron from the spot. Gave Kelly the 2-0 win and 3 points.
Yeah, I think Kelly deserved the win, but as I said, their second goal, the penalty, was never a penalty, and it just shows you how poor Scottish football refereeing is. It doesn't matter if you're in the Premier League or the League 2 or Championship or whatever. I mean, it hit the boy in the chest / face. It wasn't even nowhere near his hand, and it was a shocking decision, absolutely shocking decision. But still, they would have still lost, but it killed the game with 5-10 minutes to go or whatever it was, and it was a shame. So.
Yeah, Kilmarnock, you can see here, are currently top of the Championship table. Partick Thistle sitting in second with Inverness in third. And then Hamilton, Raith and Fairmont, Morton all in on 1 point after the opening game, with Queen of the South, Arbroath and Ayr United, the losers in the opening game, are sitting in the bottom 3. We'll move on to League 1 now. How did I get into that? League 1. Of course, all 5 games took place on the Saturday, and we'll open up with Airdrieonians at home to Montrose. Montrose, for the last couple of seasons, have well said. Before we go to that, Jambo, welcome in. Thank you for the rate. How you doing? You can't see this much, can you?
No, I can't see any raids, chats, nothing. I can't see anything. I'm just keeping it my mic with my boy running a bit crazy.
Thank you for the raid, Jambo. Welcome in. We're discussing Scottish football. Hope your stream went well. We're currently on League 1. Airdrieonians 0, Montrose 3. Just to confirm it for you, Muzza, there. In case you think I'm talking fish, as I always do. There you go.
I love it.
But Montrose the last couple of seasons have been towards the top. I think they were in the playoffs last season, picking Falkirk out the final game, which was fun.
Yeah, it was good fun. Yeah, it was good fun.
And they've started off well here. Goals from Mason, Milne and Webster. Milne and Mason both getting assists too in the game. Gave them the 3 points away to Airdrieonians. Airdrie, not the start they wanted, was it?
No, Airdrie, I think Airdrie were always going to struggle this season. They've lost too many influential players and replaced it with, as far as I'm aware, not as good as what they had. I'm not saying the players they had were amazing, but they were good enough to grind out results. I mean, straight away they lost Turner to Thistle, who was huge for them, I believe. Then they've lost McDonald to... No, was it McDonald? I think they've lost to McDonald or something. I can't remember the guy's name. I think it's McDonald. They've also lost, even though I don't rate him, Ali Roy. The guy is absolutely hopeless, but he still scored goals for them, I think. And he scored 6 goals in the League Cup for Queen of the South as well at the start of this season. So I feel as if my wife's getting louder and louder, but it was no, they're not going to be anywhere near as good as what they were last season. Airdrie and Montrose are just their typical selves in the League One, where they're kind of get decent results more than not type thing.
Yeah, you mentioned there they did lose their captain Sean Crichton, who joined the Warriors back team, and is captain there now. So that's a massive loss at the back. And potentially, Watson, Cairn, Fordyce not really working together as well at the back. So that could be an issue for them this season against stronger opposition in Montrose.
McCabe looks a good signing for them, but the Reece McCabe boy, I think he was at Queen of the South last season. I think he's quite a good signing. So they have made a good signing, but I just don't think. I mean, that Katongo boy played with Dumbarton last season, and they struggled in the league. So that just kind of shows you the level of the players they're signing.
Well, talking about Dumbarton, probably the biggest shock in the weekend there. Dumbarton, of course, having a horrendous League Cup campaign, finishing bottom. Of course, did start with a 3-0 loss to Mirren because they couldn't play. Then lost a couple of days later to the Warriors 2-1 with a depleted squad. But they kicked off their league campaign with a 3-0 win away at Broadwood. Dumbarton, of course, have been causing a bit of controversy on the social media following a post calling Cumbernauld a hole, which is weird.
Well, it is. I used to stay there. I was born and brought up there. I can say it's a hole. It's my hole, but
yeah. But goals. Well, an own goal from Balatoni before McLean, Ross McLean, and Conor Duffy gave Dumbarton the 3-0 win. Not gonna lie. Just about the fact that Dumbarton's won there, I think Clyde might struggle as well this season. Because I don't rate Dumbarton, even though they were competing against us, they were shocking as the players they had. To apologise for the background noise. And have a look at their team now. I think most of them played against us. I think Orsay didn't, maybe Lynch too. But I don't really rate their chances this season. Neither side, to be honest.
For what it's worth, Dumbarton, I said, see when Dumbarton played first in the League Cup, I turned around and says, I thought they looked better than what they were last season. Last season they managed to, but I mean they still get beat obviously, and I know that sounds stupid, but the point is Dumbarton were that poor last season and just scraping past relegation. It's not going to be hard to be better than last season, if that makes sense. So I think Dumbarton might surprise a few and get mid-table or something like that.
Maybe. The next game, which was one that also had a lot of controversy around it, Falkirk had to forfeit the last couple of games in the League Cup because of COVID reasons. And they were looking to postpone this game against Cove Rangers due to having players just come back to isolation on the day of the game. But they made the trip up to Aberdeen to take on Cove Rangers, took the lead through Nisbet before Ronan McAllister gave both teams a point for a goal in the 70th minute. I don't think Falkirk would be too happy about the fact that they had to play the game, but they would be happy with the fact they got a point in the circumstances.
But, it's a penalty kick in the Aberdeen and however you pronounce that other team's name. It's a penalty to the other team, so a chance to go back to 2 each before half time.
But McAllister coming off the bench in that game is scoring for goals. But Falkirk, not like the Falkirk will be able to go up this season. I think they're making changes off the pitch as well, which could help them go forward. Which one I'm being taking our Chief Executive Officer Jamie Swinney to the club, which I think he's moving there properly on Monday. So, but they're making the off-field changes to help with the on-field stuff to try and get back up. And Cove Rangers as well, one of the teams towards the top end of the League One last season. But we'll looking to go up this season. We'll talk about another team similar to what Cove done, dominated League 2 due to having a bit of a financial backing, and that is Queen's Park. They made the trip to Fife to take on East Fife. And a 1-1 draw. Goal from Watts opened the scoring. Before Fox.
2 each with Aberdeen.
2 each now. For a goal from Fox levelled the game in the second half. Fox's centre half. Not the best of starts for the Spiders, is it?
No, it wasn't at all. I was expecting a wee bit better from Queen's Park. I thought they played well against Motherwell, and I think they beat Queen of the South in penalties in the League Cup as well. So I thought they started well in the League Cup, but yeah, they'll be disappointed. Don't get me wrong, East Fife were a hard team last season to play at their own stadium, so it's maybe too hard to judge. I mean, in my opinion, we never really spoke about the Cove and Falkirk game, but like the Cove and Falkirk game, Falkirk surprised me a wee bit. For a team who have not trained for 10 days, maybe they had something to prove and they were angry about the whole COVID situation, but Falkirk totally controlled and dominated that game against Cove and deserved to win. So maybe you're right about Falkirk wanting to go back up, and Cove were a little bit disappointing considering the signings they've made. And as I said, Queen's Park will be up there challenging. But yeah, no, it'll definitely be a tight league. I'm just glad us Thistle are not in it. I think it'll be a lot tighter than what it was last season, and there was only 22 games last season or something. So.
Here's a question from the chat regarding Messi. What is your favourite Lionel Messi goal?
It was Oilham. No, I don't know. I mean, his free kick against Liverpool was absolutely amazing. But he's scored some crackers in his time, so I don't think you can just pick one out. You know, I think he's done too well over his career to single out one particular goal.
Yeah, that free kick against Liverpool was a very good one. Of course, they did lose the game overall, but you know. Finally, in Scottish League One, Peterhead welcomed Alloa to Balmoor. I think that is, if I'm right by saying that, Russell McLean opened the scoring, and then Payne made it 2-0 in a game which I think you can classify as an upset. I don't think Peterhead are as strong as our teams league, especially Alloa, but they started off with the 3 points against Alloa, who were relegated last season. So
I think Alloa should be up challenging, but similar to the East Fife game when I'm saying they had to beat Peterhead on their day, it's not the easiest places to go, no matter who you are, to go to Peterhead and get the results.
I mean, considering the fact that Stirling Albion went up there in the League Cup, won there.
No,
I
get that. That's what I'm saying. When Peterhead are doing okay, they're actually not the easiest team to beat. I mean, as I said, I know Thistle beat them last season and all that away from home. I'm just saying that it's typically it's not an easy place to go because nobody likes travelling 4 or 5 hours or whatever to get to a game and then you have to play it, you know, because a lot of clubs can't afford to stay overnight in these places. So yeah,
and we'll have a look at the League One table. Dumbarton and Montrose both lead the way. Peterhead in third, and then Cove, East Fife, Falkirk, Queen's Park on 1 point, sitting in the next 4 spaces, and then Alloa, Airdrie, Clyde the bottom 3 after all teams, the 3 teams lost there. We'll look at the Scottish League 2 now, the league that I'm a bit more familiar with. Because this is just a review of the last week in Scottish football. I'll be joining Muzza for a preview of the weekend on Saturday morning. But we'll start off at Cliftonville with the game between Albion Rovers and Edinburgh City. Of course, it was we've talked about games having controversy. This game here, a lot went on. In the first half, I think it was, the referee went down injured and they didn't have a referee replacement at the ready. So Albion Rovers players Max Wright was set to go into one of the touchlines. But Edinburgh City threw up a fuss about that, so the game ended up playing with just the one linesman. And you can see there, Albion Rovers winning 2-0. Edinburgh City missing a penalty through handling, but Edinburgh City, of course, has been one of the stronger teams in League 2 the last couple of seasons. Albion Rovers, not so much. But maybe they've swung around. Edinburgh City potentially could be struggling this season. Albion Rovers looking towards the playoff. What were your thoughts on that game?
Oh God, I've got a wasp or a fly or something right beside me. The Edinburgh, for what it's worth, I actually didn't see highlights of this game at all. But obviously I knew about the ref situation and stuff. The Albion Rovers, I know, signed a boy from Thistle called Gavin Riley, and he potentially will be pretty decent. I believe he scored against Hamilton. But I think Albion Rovers might shock a few people this year. I don't think they'll win the league. I don't think but I think they'll be maybe a wee bit better than what they've been over the last X amount of years. Edinburgh, on the other hand, might be going in the opposite direction, like you said, because they have lost a lot of their main players, I believe, or a lot of important players. I think you mentioned one of them, Balatoni, I believe, played a lot for them last season. He obviously scored against his own team. He scored an OG for Clyde, I think it was, you said.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know they've lost, I think they had that DeVita boy and whatever else. So they have. And is it the Edinburgh goalkeeper as well? I think he's joined Hamilton or something. I'm not sure. I think there's a. So they lost a lot of players, and I think Edinburgh might struggle a wee bit. I think they've went for promotion the last couple of years, and I think they might sit at the bottom of the league this year.
Yeah, just looking at that team, not the strongest. You know what? Torstein McIntyre, not the best centre-back pairing there. I think that might cost them. I think McIntyre is more of a left-back as well, to be honest with you. But they lost Mark Laird to Stirling Albion. We'll talk about in a bit. They lost Liam Henderson to Arbroath, who was another player who played the back. Balatoni to Clyde. They lost. Well,
they definitely lost their goalkeeper as well. I just can't remember what team he went to.
It would have been Antel, wouldn't it? The next game in the League Two is Annan Athletic taking on Forfar. Forfar were relegated from League One last season, finishing bottom of the table, and made the trip down to Annan and taking 3 points, 3 goals from McCluskey and Scott Shepherd. Annan Athletic are a team that finished last season a bit strongly after having a poor season. They did beat my team Sesame 5-1 towards the end of the season, but they've started. Well, to be fair, they've got one of the stronger sides in Forfar coming down to play them, so maybe that's why. But starting off with a home loss, maybe it isn't the best for them if they do want to try and push towards the playoffs, as they have been the last couple of seasons. But of course, League Two, just whilst I remember, it's the only league in Scotland, if I'm right by saying, that does have does have 5 substitutions this season.
Mm-hmm.
But and teams were using that. You see 4 for them making 4 changes. Shepherd came on from McCluskey in the first half. So did you see Forfar being towards the top of the table after being relegated last season?
Say that again, sorry.
Do you see Forfar being one of the teams up towards the top of the table after they were relegated last season?
You would imagine so, at least the top 4 anyway. I think my personal favourites, I know you won't like me saying it because obviously your team's in the league, but I think Kelty Hearts are the team to beat. I think they've got probably the strongest team. Definitely the quality is there, and obviously we'll get to Kelty just shortly, but I think Kelty will be your favourites in that league, definitely.
Yeah, next game is the longest distance between 2 sides in League Two, Elgin City and Stranraer. Stranraer making the long trip up north. I think it's about 7 hours for them to get to Elgin to skip the league, and they left with a point. McCarty opening the scoring for Elgin City before a goal from Gallagher gave Stranraer the point in a game which, if we can find the stats, relatively even between the 2 sides. 12 shots to 11, 5-4 on target. And, just looking at that, you think that's a fair kind of reflection of a point each. But Elgin City are worth 2 sides in the top 4 last season. And our side did go up in the playoffs after losing. But what did you make of that game, Muzza?
I'll be brutally honest with you. I watched the majority of Scottish football. I never seen anything to do with this game. Like you were saying, the stats seem to suggest the game was even, so maybe a draw was the fairest result, and you can't really complain that way.
The game we could already team already mentioned there, Kelty Hearts against Cowdenbeath. Kelty Hearts were promoted from the Lowland League after beating who was it again?
What in the Brecon?
Who's the Highland League winners? I've forgotten.
Brora, I think.
Brora. They beat Brora and then beat Brecon City, who are down in the Highland League now. But yeah, they started off in a derby. One of two derbies in the league in the starting game. Cowdenbeath did miss a penalty, but goals from Joe Cardle and Philip gave Kelty Hearts the opening 3 points, assisted by Peggy and Boy Biabe, formerly of the Warriors. Not gonna lie, you were mentioning there quite a strong lineup for Kelty, and then you look at bench there as well. A few players that
they actually had one of their main players missing. Their striker, Austin. He was. I don't know much about is it? How do you pronounce his name? Is it Agiman or something?
Agiman, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know much about him. I know he played in whatever team it was, but Austin's their main striker, so they actually had one of their main players missing, and they still managed to get a 2-0 win.
I think Agiman was at Hill last season.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because they've changed their name and all that. And
And then Cowdenbeath, 4-4-2 they played. Not really too sure what to make of that. They went to Kelty Hearts, who are expected to be one of the stronger teams in the league.
To be fair to Cowdenbeath, if I remember rightly so, when I seen for what I seen of the game, that Cowdenbeath did miss a penalty. They weren't awful.
Yeah.
But as I said, Kelty Hearts, when you get players like Higginbottom, Joe Cardo, and then you get players like Tidser in midfield, and even they've just recently signed away off of Thistle, who I call him Tamil Bomb Scare, but I mean that's fine. But in League Two, you would think these players are far too good for that league, and they'll not lose many games. So I definitely think Kelty Hearts are favourites. They're just technically a good side, physically a good side, and So I feel sorry for your Stenhousemuir team, but there you go. I think Kelty will win the league.
Well, another derby, and two teams expected to be towards the top end of League Two at the end of the season. My team, Stenhousemuir, took on Stirling Albion at home, and I know the stats don't show it, but it was a very even game. And just to interrupt quickly, it was a great result the night for St Johnstone. They've just finished 1 each with Galatasaray, which I'll be brutally honest with you, I did not see coming. I honestly thought Galatasaray would have destroyed them. So yeah, well done St Johnstone and getting extra coefficiency points for Scotland. Yeah, that's a good result for them. But Stenhousemuir against Stirling Albion, as I said, stats don't make it out to me, but it was an even game between the two sides. I think I was heading towards a 0-0 draw and a mistake at the back in the Warriors. We let Mark Flair just get behind and play it across to left back McNiff for a tap in. And then at the end of the game, Dylan Mackin, the number 23 for Stirling Albion, was a bit verbally abusive to the referee and saw red for that. But have you seen the highlights of that game then?
I did. I think I even sat and watched them while I was talking to you. However, my mind is having a wee brain fart here. I'm trying to remember it now. I watched too much football, man.
It was an even game between the two sides. I've said the stats.
You turned around and said the stats don't make it out, but if you go back down to the stats, I mean, it says 50% possession.
Yeah, it was a game.
Shots and target. I mean, I'm not interested in shots at goal because I can hit a shot for the halfway line that sails over the bar, So I think shots and targets, what you're looking for, 3 apiece, 5 and 8 corners again, pretty similar. No, I would say the stats suggest it's quite an even game. I think it was. I think you're being a wee bit hard on the stats a wee bit there.
I mean, the Warriors should have been in front in the first half. James Lyon, on loan from Partick Thistle,
I remember seeing that.
broke through, and he should have shot, but he cut back. Should have shot there, cut back again, and fell over.
Yep.
So,
yep. I mean, to be fair to him, I think if I remember rightly, so obviously you were at the game, it's a bit different for you, but if I remember rightly, so did he know they cut back? Should have shot with his left, but I think that's what actually made him fall, because he like hesitated with the shot a wee bit. So I don't think it's so much he like cut back and then cut back again. I think it was like he cut back, decided to shoot, but kind of stumbled a wee bit, and then tried to cut it back and fell in his arse.
But yeah, still Albion picking up 3 points. We'll have a look at the table quickly. Albion Rovers lead the way early on. They host my team Stennismuir on Saturday, so hopefully when we're back here next Thursday at 8 PM once again, talking about it, hopefully Stennismuir will be above them with a 5-0 win. But then four for Athletic, another team to win, and Kelly Hearts too. That's the kind of top three, which is they're only in that position just because of the alphabet, pretty much. It's still an Albion, and the only other team to get the win in the league with we're sitting in fourth. The Elgin City Stranraer both in 5th and 6th, and then the Warriors and an Athletic Cownbeef and Edinburgh City make the bottom 4. We're going to have a look at the 5th tier, and we'll try and get through it in the next couple of minutes. I'm going to hide this just now so I can change over my screen. But the 5th tier is something that it's going to be a bit more difficult for us to talk about. We don't know too much, and it's not on BBC Sport in the same capacity the top 4 leagues are. So it's a bit to talk about.
I have got that. You have got them there. That's fine. I was going to say I've got a link that leads you to everything, but
yeah. But of course, we'll look at the Highland League first, and the games of the weekend there. Beacon City beating Keith 4-0. But we're not going to get the goal scorers for this because there's a lot of them, because some teams score for fun in this league. Brora Rangers versus Rawfest was postponed. Clattenacudden 2, Huntley 5, Fort Martin United 4, Forest Mechanics 1, Fort William 0, Fraserburgh 4, Lossiemouth 2, Inverurie Local Works 2, Nairn County 0, Devonvale 2, Strapsay Thistle 3, Wick Academy 3, Turriff United 0, Bucky Thistle 4. So, of course, we mentioned Beacon City. Of course, they were the team relegated last season in the Pyramid Playoff at the hands of Kelty Hearts. They got moved into the Highland League, and you can see at the top of the screen too, they did start off with a 3-1 win against Turriff United before a 4-0 win against Keith. Do you see them being one of the teams up towards the top of the table, towards the end of the season, potentially challenging us into that playoff?
I mean, as you said, I don't know too much about the Lowland and Highland League, but I know always like teams like Brora and whatever else are always up there. But it's, as far as I'm aware, I believe Brecon have signed a few semi-decent players for that level.
Yeah.
So you would imagine so. They need to go for it. But the only problem they've got is that league literally one up. You need to win it to go into the.
Yeah, to win it to go into the playoffs.
So it'll be a tough ask, but they'll definitely be up there challenging.
Yeah, Brora Rangers missing out on the second week due to a postponement. I'm not too sure why. But they did start off with where is it? Started off 3-1 away at Devonvale. So, but then our team's Bucky Thistle, another team, they started off 5-0 win against Lossiemouth and won 4-0 against Turriff United. And then Forest Mechanics Fraserburgh winning 4-0 at, I think it was a home ground against Fort William, because there's issues with Fort William's ground at the moment. So I think that got changed. Well, it was a home game for Fort William, but it was changed to their ground. They also started with a 3-0 win at Fort Martin. I hope the Fort Martin. Look at the league table. After just 2 games, Bucky Thistle, Fraserburgh, Brecon City all on 6 points. Inverurie Local Works, Huntley on 4 points, and then Brora and Rawfest, the postponed game, they're both on 3 points. I'm not going to have a look at the rest because there's a lot of teams in this, 18 teams there. But we'll have a look at the table now. Do you have any early predictions for who we could be seeing in that playoff against the winner of the Lowland League?
I think it's far too early to judge that, but I think, like I say, Brora, Brechin, Buckie, I think are the teams that are always kind of up there. I'm sure Devonvale no usually semi-decent as well. I could be wrong, but I know they'll always be there. Poor Fort William are always in the bottom as far as I'm aware. I think they're always getting destroyed like the heavily scores. But yeah, they 3 or 4 teams with Brechin, Brora, Buckie. 100% they 3, I think.
We're just going to change this screen over to the Lone League. If I can find the results from the last week or so. There we go. This is going to be a bit more confusing to look at, and I do apologise. It's just the way the website works.
Couple of shifts a week.
Strange
when planned.
Can we highlight? Right. Well, I've highlighted the games we're going to have a look at anyway. From the weekend there, Bonnyrigg Rose 6, Greenaff 2008 2, Broomhill 1, Cali Braves 2, Albeatty Star 3, Edinburgh University 1, East Kilbride 0, Silver Stores 1, East Stoneshire 2, Cumbernauld Colts 0, Garfield Rovers 2, Berwick Rangers 1, University of Stirling 0, Spartans 2, Vale Leaven 0, Bonus United 7. And the result from last night was Celtic B 2, Berwick Rangers 0. The Saturday results, Bonnyrigg, one of the favourites, one of the teams expected to be towards the top end of the table, picking up that 6-2 win. And then Bonus United Vale, another team expected to be towards the top end of the table, setting the standard with a 7-0 away win at Victoria Park against Vale Leaven. But is there any results in that bunch there that interest you?
East Kilbride. I don't think, as I said, I don't know much about this football, like in the Lowland and Highland League. I generally don't, and that sounds awful. I think you said you're going to be speaking to Muzza at some point, so he's the man that you really want to be talking to. But I think East Kilbride have shocked me a wee bit. Last season they should have been up challenging, the league got halted. I think the season before that they were up challenging. So to start off with 2 draws and a defeat is pretty crazy. And like I said, civil service strollers, I don't know how they are. It might not be that much of a shock. I think they might have beat Rangers for Celtic B recently as well.
Yeah.
It might be up there. Aye, there it is up there. Aye, you see it, Rangers B. So I'm maybe doing East Kilbride a wee bit of injustice, but I think that's the result in my opinion, just because I think East Kilbride are better than what they're started off with.
Yeah, East Kilbride usually one of the teams towards the top end, but the fact that Celtic Hearts now, you expect them to be one of the favourites for the league, but I've started off slow, of course. Another result I don't want to talk about before we move on.
Need to interrupt for 2 seconds. Hibs are currently 1-0 down to, I don't even know how to pronounce them, Rectia or whatever it is.
Rectia. Another result I don't want to talk about before we move on to the Celtic game against Berwick Rangers from last night. Broomhill, of course, formerly known as BSC Glasgow, hosted Cali Braves. Of course, a whole bunch of changes going on at Broomhill. They've had two managerial changes since the last time they played properly. Stephen Swift, of course, leaving to join Stennismuir. I can't remember who took over as a manager after that, but he then left, and then they took the coaching staff from Ross Vale, and not really had enough time to get the team in because I think they were only given like 2 days before the first game of the season. But they've not really started off too well. Broomhill, of course, were a team pushing towards the top end. I think I can click on that, but they've not really set the standards that they have in previous years.
It's not the best of sights by the looks of it.
Yeah, but we'll have a look at the table quickly. We did mention that, of course, Celtic beat Berwick Rangers 2-0 last night as well. And just it's one of these games where we don't know what to make of it until we get further in. But we have a look at the table now. Albeatty Star and Civil Service Stores lead the way. Bonnyrigg Rose are behind them. Spartans, East Stoneshire, Rangers beat Bonus United, Celtic beat Cali Braves and Berwick Rangers, finishing out the top 10. And teams like Gala, Fairleigh Rovers, Broomhill, Cumbernauld Colts, Gretna, Stirling University, East Kilbride, Edinburgh University and Vale Leaven, the bottom 8, I think that is.
Just going to interrupt you while you. I didn't want to interrupt you while you were doing the tables there, but it's now 3-2 to Aberdeen. Christian Ramirez again. So yeah, that in.
Yeah, interesting game. But it's been an interesting start to the week. Of course, East Kilbride have played 3 games so far and are 16th. So
even when you're saying that, I mean 2 points in 3 games. When you look at Dalbeattie Star and Seville, that's a hell of a name, is there? Can we just say CSS or something? But it's they're already quite far behind. And like I said, you expect East Kilbride to be up there challenging, so already they're that far behind. Even if they were to win their 2 games in hand, still like 7 points behind or something. That's a lot of points after only a few games of the season.
Yeah, I assume that their games in hand are against Spartans and Gretna. I'm pretty sure Celtic and Rangers B are they're meant to play each other at the weekend there, but it got postponed for some reason. It was because Celtic are meant to be hosting at Airdrie's ground, but Airdrie were also playing at home. For some reason they've done that. And finally, we'll have a look at what we're going to be talking about now. We'll show the European fixtures for the Scottish teams. Of course, Rangers played on Tuesday night, a 2-1 loss in Malmo, and then if I can find it all because it's confusing now. Earlier today, Celtic beating Jablonec 4-2. Goals from. Let me get back up.
Go on, pronounce the boy's name. You know you wanna. Kyogo.
Goals from Pilar and Maliniski for Jablonec.
They're great players, man. Absolute great players.
But then goals from Abada, Furuhashi, Forrest, and Christie give Celtic a 4-2 win after being knocked out of the Champions League by Midtjylland last week. We already spoke about it. Galatasaray Johnson playing a 1-1 draw. If he wants to load, that is.
It might not be ready yet, but I was watching the game for what it's worth quickly. Galatasaray were reduced to 10 men, gave St Johnstone the penalty. St Johnstone scored from the penalty. Galatasaray ran out of the park, slipped the boy in on the right hand side, and he placed a well drilled low shot across the goalkeeper and into the net. But regardless, I mean, Galatasaray absolutely destroyed St Johnstone in the first half and probably the majority of the second. And Xander Clark pulled off millions of decent saves. And but 1 each away from home to Galatasaray for a team like St Johnstone is a result that the fans will never forget. And if they can go to McDermott and, well, I don't even know if that's what it's still called these days, but if they can go to McDermott, then they can hopefully shock them and get a great result for people to maybe stand up and look at Scottish football a wee bit after the humiliation for teams like Celtic getting beat off poor teams. So that's that. Just to interrupt, and before you go into it, Hibs have just equalised against that Reykjavik or whatever. So that's 1 each as well, just in case it still says 1-0 on the BBC.
Yeah, I'm not going up anymore. But I think we've discussed all we had to. I think I was trying to get this to last for about an hour, and we're about an hour and 10 minutes. So, if you are watching on YouTube, these will usually be live every Friday, 8 p.m. BST. But for this week, we'll be today, and also next week, which will be the 12th, they'll be live on Thursday. Because I'm busy tomorrow for the FM playoffs, so to join me for that. Or as you're probably seeing this on YouTube, I'll be live currently with FM playoffs. And next week, I'll be at Edinburgh City versus Stenhouse-Muir. So I can't exactly do that and stream this. So after that, beginning the 20th of August, it'll be a Friday night, most likely. Unless I change it. But yeah, this will be up on YouTube at some point tomorrow, this couple of days if you're seeing this. Just come watch this live on Twitch. You can talk about all things Scottish football, anything else going on in football. We talked about Messi leaving the club today, Barcelona today. But yeah, do you have any final comments, Muzza, ahead of talking about the last week or looking ahead to this weekend?
Nah, I'm just looking forward to talking more about Scottish football in the future. I've enjoyed tonight. I think it's been interesting and some good. Like when you listen to other things, I think we've been pretty detailed and stuff, and I'm looking forward to this weekend. As an official fan, I'm looking forward to the Dunfermline official game. I think it's going to be be an interesting high goal scoring game. I'm not saying Thistle are going to win. I'm not saying Dunfermline are going to win. All I'm going to say is I expect at least 4 goals in that game. So there you go.
Yeah, is that the game you're off to this weekend then?
We're not actually allowed in. It's only
Right.
Dunfermline fans, but as of this is the last game where we're not allowed in, then you're allowed to go to all the games. I have already purchased the stream, so I will be watching it. So
for myself, as I already mentioned, I'm off to Cliftonville as Albion Rovers host Tennismuir. And we'll talk about that in detail next week. But so I'll be live with Muzza Saturday morning, 10 a.m. So if that's what you're interested in, come along and watch. We'll be previewing the games of the weekend. I thought we were doing that tonight, but we're already wasting an hour talking about I don't know, St Johnstone beat Trilby Galatasaray.
We're talking about last week's results.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for joining everyone. Thank you, Jambo, for the raid. Thank you everyone for coming in and chatting. We are going to go and raid. We're going to raid Muzza, who's currently doing a quiz. So if that piques interest, get involved. I'll be back live tomorrow for the FM playoffs, Sunday as well for the FM playoffs, and Monday night I'll be back live for a quiz. So hopefully see you all there. We're going to go raid over to Muzza. Thank you, Muzza, for getting involved, and we'll see you in the next stream. Peace.